kinds of really cool things today. What are you gonna learn about?
We're gonna getting learned.
Yeah, dude. So we're doing a lot of stuff about Ohio. We both live in Ohio, right?
Yeah. Born and raised.
See, that's how we're able to get together. So anybody that doesn't know,
I drove here.
Well, yeah. So for anybody that doesn't know, I live in a nice little wooded wonderland.
It is
here in Columbus.
It is seriously, I would call this the Disney forest.
Dude, we name squirrels. We've got,
you do?
Yeah.
You name squirrels?
There's one squirrel in particular. His name's Hippo. Okay.
Hippo.
Hippo.
Is this like a fat one? Like
he got fat. So he had a really messed up tail. Like he had gotten in a fight with something and it was just all mangled. And she likes to feed them. And Hippo would always come out and she'd put a little bit on the deck for him.
I'm picturing this like this very fat squirrel that
he wasn't
barely...
originally. Just think of a squirrel, but like
okay,
with just like
with
just like a rat tail.
Okay,
because all of the puffy was gone.
all right.
The squirrel could not. He didn't do literal leaps and bounds anymore. He pretty much lived on our deck.
So
now it's probably been about a year. But his tail's still messed up. It kind of grew back, but it's super messed up. You can still tell which one it is. But even without putting the food out there, he comes out during the day whenever it's nice and sunny and just takes a nap on the handrail of our deck.
He's like, "Hey, Big Daddy," like
he sprawls out
like suntans almost.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to be like a carpet in a rich person's house, with the bear.
Oh,
but
just lounging out. It's like, hey guys,
full out, nothing to worry about. Bathes in the sun for like an hour. So that's the story of Hippo.
That's
who
crazy.
Lives here.
Yeah, I don't really have any of those type of stories. Besides Hippo, do you have any other ones you've named?
Oh yeah, I got some more. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
What's happened here? So, this was about a year ago. Wife was pregnant at the time, and we had tore out our fireplace, but the chimney is still there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And one day we realized we heard it was like it was haunted up there. We just heard like tick 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 through the roof. Okay,
like little like claws. That is creepy.
Yeah, didn't really think much of it. Hey, there's things on the roof. There's trees here. They get up there. We heard that ticka ticka ticka. But one night we both woke up to what just sounded like two dudes in a bar fight behind the wall.
Just like going at it. Just
what'd you call me?
just like
I take you. That's exactly what it sounded like. Glass breaking. That's what was going on behind the wall.
I can only imagine what you guys were. It'd be like the same patrons, like, what the heck's going on here? Like, whoa, there's a fight.
Especially middle of the night, man. That's when we found out that it was a nocturnal animal.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, they are nocturnal.
So it turns out there were a couple rake-ins that had gotten into our chimney.
They weren't paying rent.
No. And would just randomly get in fights and somehow had gotten into the roof in our bedroom. Okay. So yeah, my wife, she was 2 weeks away from due date and this started happening. So my first thought was, if we can't take care of this problem, we're going to have to live on the street, because the thing that I didn't want is for my newborn to be there. And it's like, level 1, baby, you're fighting a raccoon.
Fight.
And it to just fall through the ceiling.
I can only imagine this, like, this gray and black trash panda like falling through your roof and like get in a fight with your newborn.
Well, yeah, it's like, welcome to the world, baby. Fight a raccoon.
This is Ohio, mind you. This is being filmed in Columbus, and Turtle here. He lives in, and I quote, the Disney forest. Like,
in Columbus, it's
I remember coming over here one time, and leaving, and there were like 2 or 3 deer, like no more than 6 feet in front of your front door.
Well, yeah. So we throw out salt licks, and then they eat the hostas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their thing.
It's there every day. Like you get to wake up and hey,
in the winter,
good morning, deer.
In the winter, they just kind of chill up on.
They burrow up over here too.
Yeah, you can see them in the snow. It's pretty cool.
Mind you, we're in the middle of Columbus, Ohio. So I don't have any of those type of stories. I got other pretty fun stories though.
You had mentioned one about a raccoon before.
Yes, a raccoon. So again, Ohio. Here's another little quick snippet about Ohio. There used to be so many trees here in Ohio that one squirrel from the Indiana side wouldn't even touch ground to reach the Pennsylvania side because there was that many trees.
Dude, I think that's just speculation, because who followed the squirrel?
You got a good point. That's pretty valid. That's pretty valid.
Did one dude walk from one side to the other just tracking out squirrel paths?
Anyways, so I digress. So yes. So here again, in Columbus, my girlfriend's father had like a little rodent nuisance, and so he laid out traps, and he was catching said like raccoons and any type of critters.
Mm-hmm.
He said that the raccoons never put up a fight. They just kind of like, when they were caught, they were just like, "Hey, what's up? You caught me. Let me go."
Well, he's moving them during the day, and we learned earlier they are nocturnal.
Correct.
So it's nap time.
You got a point. It is nap time. So mind you, like he advised that like the squirrels that he caught, they were like going crazy. And apparently, I didn't know this, but these squirrels, like he was like a gardener. He like plants like flowers to eat, whatever. And this little squirrel, because every time when Sarah's talk about this, like, oh, that must have been a rabbit eating the plants. No, it was a squirrel just like rubbing its like freaking dirty filth and like crap just to like rub their bodies on his garden.
Just forget your garden.
Yeah. Just rubbing in dirt.
That's why. Yeah, he had the negative side of the squirrels, is to where we name them when they do stupid stuff like that.
Well, so then that's what gave Sarah dad's like, hey, let's trap these critters. So what he would do is he got a cage, and every time Sarah would go over there to visit, he'd give like his tale of adventure of these animals. So he's caught, like I said, many animals, aka rodents, squirrels, yada. But the funnier stories were the ones with the raccoons. Like, again, they were just lazy, but again, we learned that they were nocturnal. So apparently he separated a whole family of raccoon, and so the baby was easy. So what he did was he had these cages, and he went over, like he drove like a few miles away. Mind you, this is a 70-year-old skinny Asian man.
Okay.
And so he was telling this story of how the big one, as we hear it,
the squirrel.
No, this is the raccoon.
Okay,
the big one. And apparently this raccoon was so fat that its fluff was sticking outside the cage, like it was a fatty.
Dude, and they climb trees.
We
watch them climb trees. So he must have had some pretty big trees, hopefully.
I don't know.
It's the McDonald's of trees.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're in the middle of Columbus, Ohio, so you can only imagine what our trash is filled with. But anyway,
that thing lives off of French fries and leftover pizza rolls.
A fun fact: Turtle here knows of our family's dog, and how it like avoids food but jumps the table to get napkins.
Dude, yeah, he just eats paper.
Just it's wild. But anyways, so with this raccoon, this big plump juicy, not juicy, this ew.
That looks raccoon. Tasty right there.
this plump raccoon.
Give me a medium rare raccoon.
So it was so big that Sarah's dad had to take 2 rest breaks in order to put said trap to said vehicle. He had to take two breaks.
From the backyard?
From the backyard to the car.
It sounds like an excuse to check your Facebook. I don't
know. One thing to point out that I'm kind of intrigued. What were other people's driving around, said Columbus, seeing a middle-aged Asian man with a cage and a raccoon walking to the woods? What would one think? So yeah, there's that. As kids, we also played raccoon fishing. Do you know what that is?
No, what?
I'm dead serious.
Okay.
So what you would do is you take said fishing pole, right? And of course we were kids, so we got like the button releases, right?
Okay, yeah.
And again, mind you, here in Ohio, like woods is like not that far, and also there's like farmland, which is here. It's not that far either. So there's a lot of squirrels.
There's plenty of raccoons for the fishing.
Raccoons for the fishing. So the idea is you want to take the fishing pole, Lee's Chicken or KFC, like bucket of chicken.
Oh, I feel like this is just a KFC commercial.
No, but if KFC,
does Popeyes not work? Can I not go get churches?
But if KFC is listening, but what we did is we also take those like big old Bam Bam bats, like those big old plastic.
Oh
bats.
Yeah.
So we'd have to take at least 3 of those, and we'll come to that here in a few seconds.
Dude, I got hit with those as a kid, and they didn't hurt.
Well, here's the reason. So the sport of raccoon fishing is you take said fishing pole. You got to have a group of like 5 people. 3 of those like Bam Bam.
And 3 get. Okay, so you got 3 beaters.
You got 3 beaters.
You got 1
fisher,
one fisher,
1 fisher,
3 beaters and 1 fisher,
and a bucket of chicken,
and a bucket guy. Those are the 5 players.
So what you do is you walk towards the edge of the woods, right?
From out of bounds.
So that is like you're on the boat and the water is the woods. Let's put it in a visual standpoint. So think of that.
Now you're on a boat?
Sure.
Okay, so
we're on the side of the road.
To go raccoon fishing, you need 3 beaters, 1 fisher, 1 bucket man, and a boat.
Yes.
Just making sure I got the rules right.
Yes. So we're out there, and we tied said chicken, preferably chicken leg, because they're easier to tie, onto the fishing pole, and then we would cast and release.
And the thigh and the leg, when you have a bucket of chicken,
you eat them.
Least amount of meat. So if you're gonna throw one away,
you're absolutely right. They're easier to tie. So you cast that bad boy. You cast that bad boy out into the woods, and then you just wait, like fishing. And then when you hear a snag, you roll it in. And I'll tell you what, raccoons, when they see some of that Lee's Chicken KFC jiggling, they're not going to be letting go.
They smell the 13 herbs and spices.
Yes.
I've munched on those bones before.
So then you reel them in. You reel them in. So that's the fishing.
And then the 3 beaters come in.
So yeah. So So if it's ravenous, that's why you have the beaters.
Well, but they got like plastic bats. I was thinking that you were going to say like, and then you let it go at the end, but I'm really curious.
We catch and release.
You catch a raccoon,
and we beat 'em.
It comes in, and now the beaters are up.
The beaters are only up if it's ravenous.
Okay. That's a pretty lame game to be a beater in.
Well, do you want to get rabies?
Well, clearly not, but we're talking a 1 out of 100 chance.
But that's also why it's like a plastic like, a bat. So we don't hurt the animal. We just make him run away.
And then Bucket Guy comes back in and loads up
Yeah.
Bucket Guy's got the worst job because his job is just
Holding the delicious chicken.
Yeah, to put more chicken onto the fishing line, more chicken that he can't eat.
Correct.
Yeah. So we have a few owls out here. We do. And it gets creepy because every once in a while they totally kill something. And the something is not happy about it.
Uh-oh.
Like all the time we hear squirrels just taking out like rats and or the owls taking out squirrels and rats, things like that. But I thought one day I saw just, a theater tragedy in place because there were two squirrels up way up. Okay. Two squirrels hanging out and another one came up. As he came up, he got into a fight.
No.
And we're talking, this one's taller than my house. This was probably about 4 stories up.
Yeah.
Plus over the ravine. So the two squirrels got into a fight, and I totally watched one throw the other out of the tree.
No.
4 stories up.
Oh, no.
So I was still worried about this because I heard, I couldn't see it go down the ravine, but I just heard like a thump, and that was it. It was like, I just watched a squirrel murder. That's what I just saw.
And this was due to an owl, right?
No, this was just, I think they were fighting over a girl squirrel.
Oh, getting little,
Yeah. So the one
excited.
just totally tossed the other out on the ground. Good news for everybody. Did you know squirrels are the only animal who can lower their terminal velocity?
What?
Yeah. There's terminal velocity for anything, it falls at a certain rate of speed. They're the only animal that can stop that. So they can fall from any height and be fine.
I did not know that. Here's another fun fact. Did you know that chickens, their heads are on a gyroscope? If you move the chicken, but the head, if you hold said chicken and you move it around, the head will stand perfectly still, parallel with you, whatever it was looking at.
All right, so anybody that can prove that in the comments, please.
No, that's fact. That's from my engineering friends who told me that.
Show me a chicken gyroscope head.
Now you're going to see chicken tanks come around measuring up, but that's wild. I got a funny messed up story about a personal story of a squirrel named Twitchy, actually.
Okay.
So, me and the neighbor kids, we were hanging out. We were trying to be all scientific, and I remember my sister and one of the neighbor kids oh my goodness, we found this squirrel. It fell, and it was around. It was probably around this time, month wise. It was getting colder. Mm-hmm. And we're oh, we can make a habitat. So we put it in a cage, and it was obviously either in shock or it fell and actually broke something. We don't know. We don't know.
So you had a house-tamed squirrel for at least a day?
Not quite. So we're holding said squirrel, and of course, this is in the 90s, so nobody gave a crap about hand sanitizer and all that. So we're just picking this ravenous squirrel up with our bare hands and scratching our butts.
Dude, not everything's ravenous.
But anyways, so this Twitchy,
and then the beaters came in.
No beaters. So Twitchy, I will say that it was thirsty. So that's my story. It was thirsty. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was I had a little a hamster bowl of water, and it was in a little hamster bowl, and I gave it to said squirrel. My story is the squirrel grabbed said bowl and splashed water on itself. All of a sudden, it started to not move anymore, and then just kind of died in our hands.
What? That's so sad. What?
So Twitchy...
I was not expecting that.
So Twitchy then became a stiffy.
Oh, my God.
So we were kind of mortified and kind of sad. Because
I was expecting a happy story.
No, well, it gets more morbid. So... So
Don't tell me that's when the beaters came in.
no. So we're like, well, this is very unfortunate. Now what? So we decided as a haha joke, because the neighbor kid who discovered it with
Oh
my
yeah, because
sister-
that's a great way to make decision on corpses. Ha ha joke.
So we put said squirrel like on, because you know those like back, they probably still have like dog houses. Well, this one was like a plastic dog house that, you know, yada yada yada.
You know, I honestly don't see many dog houses these days.
Exactly,
but
so
they
that's why-
probably, yeah,
That's why I brought it up.
it must have existed at some point, right?
They were around in the early 2000s at least.
Okay.
90s or 2000s. But so we decided for one of the children that discovered said squirrel, let's just put it on top of the, let's put it on top of the doghouse. Maybe we'll just leave it there. Hopefully it'll survive somehow.
Yeah, maybe it'll dry out and then be alive again.
This is, I've watched a lot of Disney flicks because you never know. You never know. It could be like Hippo, maybe just
passed out in the sun.
Passed out in the sun. And
No, there's a very big difference between Hippo and Twitchy.
Twitchy that became Stiffy. So anyway, so we left Twitchy on the doghouse. The following morning, we wake up, and again, this being Ohio, it's covered in frost. Like, it obviously was cold enough to frost.
Okay.
So the neighbor comes over.
Twitchy
and,
became Stiffy, became Icy.
Icy, yes. So unbeknownst to us, we didn't know where it was. So the neighbor boy comes over because we had like a carpool going to school and all that stuff. So they came over, and the neighbor kid was like, "Yeah, what happened to Twitchy?" I'm like, "Oh, it escaped somehow. It was in our our habitat.
We didn't kill him, of course not.
We don't know where Twitchy ran off." And I'm like, and then the kid that I'm friends with was like, "Yeah, I think I see it. It's on your doghouse." So we go over to the doghouse. Mind you, it's like frost, and you see this like this mold looking squirrel thing with like all straight, like almost like a corn dog. This kid
Corn dog.
This kid grabs Twitchy, and I kid you not, like I'm almost disgusted and like intrigued by this ASMR sound that I'm about ready to explain. So this kid like grabs Twitchy, and all you hear is like, and his paws were still frozen on said.
It ripped his arms off.
So
Oh my god! Oh no, Icy!
He's holding Stiffy now, like it's like almost like a I don't know, like a corn on the cob. It was just so straight, and then he had to
tore
drop
his
it.
arms and legs.
He had
off.
to drop it, and then it went funk, and then it was like pointing, like its tail was pointing up as it like fell to the ground. Then we just went to school, and that's the story of Twitchy.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so sad. Try and give some enlightening stories. My squirrel got just tossed off by another squirrel. Ended up living. It's cool.
Yeah, that became a Debbie Downer.
A little bit, man.
Do you have any good, hopefully, pickup stories?
I don't have anything to lift that up.
Well, I will say another really interesting like nature story. When we were little, like there was like a family of deer, just like your Christmas Wonderland over here, but like they were so close to the car, and like we slowed down, and it was like almost like a zoo, like wanting to come in and just like give us food, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool seeing Bambi like wanting food. So, because
Dude, so the only time I ever hit a deer, it's not how it happens pretty often.
I've actually never had that happen to me.
All right, so I call it hit a deer, but a deer hit me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I had a real nice car, older sports cars, Mustang.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm driving out in the middle of nowhere, and first a baby deer came running at me. and sideswiped the car. Saw it run off in the distance. First time I ever hit a deer. I was pretty freaked out. No big deal. It didn't blow up. Once I got to where I was going, I think it was like 15 minutes later, I opened up the door. The deer had unloaded all over the side of the car.
Oh, no.
Sideswiping my vehicle scared the crap out of him.
That is just, or plowing through him just made his...
He walked away. I saw it in the rear view.
He walked away. Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. A little baby deer sideswiped me and pooped all over the side of my car.
It's like, hello.
It's the only time I've ever hit an animal.
I have kind of a... Maybe this... Depending on how you take the story, it could be a Debbie Downer or like a ha-ha story. So I actually tried going hunting before.
Okay. Did you apply the piss before or after you arrived?
Okay, I wasn't even thinking about that. That's also part of the great story.
So I feel like that's a crucial thing in what vehicle you're taking.
So I don't know why this was like post college and all that. Like our roommates, they're from Canton, Ohio, or Dunkirk, around that area. I'm from Shawnee, yada yada yada. So we decided, hey, it would be a great idea to just go hunting because we've never done that before. So why not? So you got your 3 beaters, you got your 1 fisher, and you got the bucket guy. We got the bucket. We just needed
we just need
we've upgraded
some old church's chicken and a few wiffle ball bats.
It will be ready. But no, we traded in our fishing pole for some shotguns. That's what we traded in. So we decided, okay, let's just give this a whack. So I got the hunter's license, I got the orange, I got the bling. I look like, hey, I'm going hunting.
You're freaking Little Trent out in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
I got my hunting bling.
So we're literally out in the woods, and like it was me and my buddy, and mind you, we have no idea what the heck we were doing. So I'm facing one direction, he's facing the other, right? And he hears like this crunch, this crackling crunch sound. And he comes to me, whispers, he's like, hey, what was that? And I'm like looking at him, I'm like, I think it's just a wind dude. So he looks back to where he was looking before, and he spots 3 deer no more than 3 feet away from us. And his instant reaction was, deer, deer, deer. And then he like lunges forward, and we're just going all D-Day mode, just popping off shots, like going all back crazy, And I turn around, I'm popping, and like those little critters, they just hopped along as if nothing was happening, and that was literally my story.
You scared off a bunch of deer.
But we look cool. But the deer pee. So in order for us to go out there, we decided, it was like very early in the morning. It was like 4:00 in the morning. It was like, I don't know, like late November, around that time, early December, late November. And my buddy's like, hey, let's put on the pee, but let's just put it on our shoes. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do that. So mind you,
before you got in the car, right?
After.
Okay.
Like we were already there. So I was smart enough for that. So,
that's thinking.
So we put it in, and mind you, we're outside, and I had no idea what this stuff was going to smell like, but oh my golly gee willikers, it was so foul. And mind you, as you know, I have a weak stomach. I started like gagging and like ruining our whole decoy. Ruining it. But I will say,
you guys must have taken the online quiz to get your hunting license.
Went to Walmart.
I'm glad it's so easy. Let me just point that out.
So, did you know they also have like different type of shampoo for hunting and all that, just to make you smell like soil? And it was such the weirdest smelling soap I've ever smelled in my life. Because I was used to, I'm thinking it's going to be like,
how much did this hunting license cost you?
It only cost, I can't remember.
I'm sure the state fee was below $20. But if you're buying the soap, it sounds like this hunting license cost you a few shekels.
Hey, we're making a podcast about it, so it's a great, at least a story. But man, that the soap alone was like it literally smelled like ground. Like you're rubbing ground all over you. It was such a bizarre smell. But yeah, that's pretty much that story.
Dude. All right. Well, this was Hamster and Squirrel, and today we learnt about animals.
Learning. Gettin learned. Learning. Gettin learned.
Learned all kinds of really cool things today. What are you gonna learn about? 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 What are you gonna learn about?